According to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, there are approximately 90,000 missing persons in the United States at any given time. With the advancement of modern detective work and advanced scientific methods, such as genealogy testing, the vast majority of missing person cases end up being solved today. Even so, sometimes investigators just aren't able to provide enough conclusive evidence to put the pieces together on some of these cases, and they go unsolved. There have been some devastating, very suspicious missing persons cases in recent times that definitely fall into this category. Throughout history, though, all around the world, certain missing person cases have left investigators and families struggling to find answers. When there is little evidence to no evidence and no eyewitnesses, missing persons cases tragically end up being closed and unsolved. Come with us as we walk through some of the most puzzling and tragic missing persons cases throughout history all around the globe. Every year, countless people are reported missing. In America, the numbers run into the hundreds of thousands. In Australia, it's around 38,000. Of those, 99% are solved within a year, for better or worse. Some of the missing, however, are never found. Tragically for their families and loved ones, they simply vanished without a trace. Here are some of the most baffling missing person cases that remain a mystery to this day. The Beaumont children. The disappearance of 9-year-old Jane, 7-year-old Arna, and 4-year-old Grant from Glenelg Beach in Adelaide on Australia Day 1966 remains one of the country's most enduring mysteries. Witnesses reported seeing the children with a tall, blonde, tan man in his mid-30s. Last year, police conducted a new search of a factory site once owned by a man investigated in the case but came up empty. In September, their mother, Nancy Beaumont, died at the age of 92, never knowing the truth of what happened to her children. He Jiankyu. In late 2018, a Chinese scientist caused global uproar after claiming to have created the world's first genetically edited baby. Dr. He was fired by the Southern University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen amid widespread condemnation. Chinese authorities called for an immediate halt to his experiments, which they described as extremely abominable in nature. Dr. He went missing in January and hasn't been seen since, which is never a good sign in China. Rebecca Coriam. Liverpool student and cruise ship worker Rebecca Coriam disappeared on March 22, 2011, from the Disney Wonder as it made its way from Los Angeles to Mexico. The 24-year-old was last seen on CCTV at 5:45 a.m. in the crew lounge speaking to someone on an internal phone line, wearing men's clothing and looking visibly distressed. She failed to report to her 9 a.m. shift. Disney maintains Rebecca was swept away by a rogue wave, but her parents believe she was thrown overboard after being sexually assaulted. 9 years later, they still have no answers. $10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the buttered topping. That was the chilling voicemail believed to be a ransom message left by the kidnapper of 14-year-old New Jersey schoolgirl Margaret Fox, who disappeared in 1974 on her way to what she believed was a babysitting job. The call, received by Margaret's family in the hours after she was reported missing, was released by the FBI earlier this year in the hope someone might recognize the voice of her abductor and finally crack the 45-year-old cold case. Ryan Chambers. Aussie backpacker Ryan Chambers was traveling around India on his gap year when he walked out of his ashram in Rishikesh, barefoot and wearing only shorts, leaving behind his cash, passport, phone, and diary, and disappeared into thin air. It was August 24th, 2005, and the 21-year-old Mount Gambier native had been restless the previous night, according to his father Jock, who launched a desperate search for his son. Ryan's final diary entry read, "If I'm gone, don't worry, I'm not dead. I'm freeing minds, but first, I have to free my own." Brandon Swanson. In 2008, 19-year-old Minnesota student Brandon Swanson was on his way back from an end-of-semester party in the town of Canby to his home in Marshall, 48 kilometers away, when he drove into a ditch. He called his parents at 1:54 a.m. and asked them to pick him up. As they searched for him, his father Brian stayed on the phone. "I talked to him for 47 minutes, and all of a sudden he said, 'Oh shit,' and the phone went dead," Mr. Swanson said. Police believe Brandon may have fallen into a river, but his body has never been found. Cheryl Grimmer. Cheryl Grimmer disappeared January 12, 1970, from Wollongong, Australia. She went missing from a beachside shower block. Initially, she had refused to leave the shower block, causing one of her brothers to go collect their mother to persuade Cheryl to come out. In the moments between his leaving the shower block and returning with his mother, Cheryl had disappeared. Witnesses claim they saw a man in an orange swimsuit carrying a blonde-haired child wrapped up in a towel. On March 23, 2017, a man was arrested and charged with Grimmer's abduction and murder. However, the judge at the Supreme Court of New South Wales declared some of the evidence inadmissible in the case, and the charges against the suspect were dropped in February of 2019. Once again, I'd like to thank you for checking out